Welcome back to the Swinging Sixties. The night falls gently over the quiet streets, the amber glow of old street lamps painting soft, luminous halos on the damp pavement, each one a warm invitation into the deepening twilight. You listen, and just beyond the immediate stillness, you hear the distant, familiar hum of a passing bus, its engine a low, comforting drone, and the slow, steady rhythm of fading footsteps, growing fainter and fainter as they disappear into the soft, swirling tendrils of fog that often embraced London in those quiet hours. Welcome, dear friend, to Back in the Day, the Vintage Stories. Tonight, as the world outside settles into its slumber, we return together to the Swinging Sixties, an extraordinary age where the vibrant notes of revolutionary music, the daring cuts of new fashion, and the boundless spirit of hope didn't just coexist, but mingled together in the very air, light and intoxicating, like a favorite perfume. As you settle into your most comfortable chair, perhaps with a warm cup in hand, let the hurried pace of today gently slow, breathe in deeply, and allow yourself to truly feel the city, London, that remarkable old dame, wrap herself around you once more. Here, within the embrace of our shared memories, the very streets of London are alive again, not as static images in a book, but as pulsating veins of history, brimming with untold stories, waiting patiently for you to wander through their cherished moments, to rediscover the magic within their familiar echoes. Perhaps you can already recall the particular scent of autumn leaves, damp and earthy from a recent shower, mixing deliciously with a faint, comforting wisp of coal smoke lingering from early morning fireplaces in terraced houses, their chimneys standing tall against the sky. Or maybe it's the sharp, exciting tang of petrol fumes from a brightly colored Mini Cooper as it purrs past, its nimble engine a joyous, rebellious sound. It was a time when even the most everyday sights and sounds held a deeper, almost mystical resonance, when the world felt as though it was stretching out before us, brimming with endless possibilities and a thrilling sense of unwritten adventure. The very air itself seemed to vibrate with a youthful energy, a collective sense of breaking free from the old, staid ways and stepping confidently, almost giddily, into something wonderfully new and undeniably exhilarating. Each passing day brought fresh colors to the canvas of life, from the dazzling new shades appearing in shop windows, cerulean blues, shocking pinks, tangerine oranges, to the playful geometric patterns on a young woman's mod dress as she hurried past, her vibrant print catching the last, lingering light of dusk. It wasn't just about clothes, of course, though they were a powerful symbol. It was profoundly about a shift in spirit, a shared, collective feeling that anything and everything was truly possible, that the old rigidities were melting away like frost in the morning sun, leaving behind fertile ground for dreams. The newspapers might have talked of political turmoil and social change, and indeed, those currents ran deep. But for many of us, the decade was truly defined by something much more immediate and personal. The thrilling sound of a brand new record spinning on a beloved dance set, its crackle and pop adding to the authenticity of the moment, the shared laughter over a comforting cuppa in a bustling, steamy cafe, or the quiet, unspoken companionship of walking home arm in arm after a night out, the gentle glow of distant streetlights guiding the way through the charming labyrinth of the city. It was a rich mosaic of these small, intimate moments, each one contributing its own unique thread to the grand, unforgettable tapestry of a truly revolutionary yet wonderfully serene era. And tonight, with soft hearts and open minds, we will gently unspool some of those precious threads, allowing the tender memories to wash over us like a comforting, welcome wave, bringing the past gloriously to life once more. Building upon that gentle awakening, that quiet sense of the city stretching into a new day, we begin to understand that the Swinging Sixties, you see, was so much more than just a calendar decade passing by. It was truly a heartbeat, a vibrant, insistent pulse that throbbed through the very fabric of daily life, resonating in the smoky haze of dimly lit jazz clubs where improvisation flowed like liquid gold, each note a daring whisper of freedom. This pulse echoed too in the bustling, joyous cacophony of crowded record stores, their shelves overflowing with rows upon rows of glossy vinyl, each cover a miniature work of art promising a new adventure, a fresh sound waiting to be discovered. And certainly, it throbbed with undeniable energy in the bright, spirited laughter that spilled out onto the pavements from lively coffee houses, their steamy windows blurring the world outside, inviting all who passed by to join the conversation. London, oh London, stood proudly at the very epicenter of this exhilarating shift, a beacon of creativity and audacious style, where the rhythm of change was almost palpable in the air, a visible hum. It was a time when the Beatles, with their mop-top hair and irresistible melodies, didn't just play music. They utterly reshaped its very soul, their songs weaving themselves effortlessly into the collective consciousness, changing not only how we listened, but how we felt, each chord a promise of something wonderfully fresh and undeniably ours. And then there was the visionary Mary Quant, her inventive spirit captured in the audacious sweep of a miniskirt, an item of clothing that didn't merely cover the body, but liberated it, turning heads on every street corner, not just for its daring length, but for what it represented. A confident, playful stride into a new era for women. A charming defiance of the old rigid norms. Every winding lane, every cobbled mews, every grand avenue in that magical city seemed to carry the whisper of a new dream, a burgeoning hope for what tomorrow might bring, a feeling that anything was possible. Tonight, we shall not merely revisit these moments as dusty facts plucked from a history book or as faded photographs in an album, but rather we will endeavor to step right back into them, as if we are truly there, breathing the very air of that captivating time, fully immersed in its essence. Imagine, if you will, the distinctive, slightly sharp scent of fresh ink from a morning newspaper, perhaps the Daily Mirror or the Evening Standard, its headlines hinting at the day's excitement as you unfurl it at the breakfast table, its pages crackling with the news of the world. Or feel the warm, comforting crackle and hiss of a vinyl record, just as the needle finds its groove, filling a quiet room with the sound of youthful rebellion or tender romance, a melody that still resonates today. And finally, feel too, the cool kiss of the evening air on your skin as you stroll through Piccadilly Circus, bathed in the vibrant, shifting glow of neon adverts, or along the peaceful Thames embankment, the ancient river whispering secrets of ages past, yet somehow feeling utterly new, entirely alive. It's in these vivid, tangible sensations that the true spirit of the 60s comes alive, inviting us to not just remember, but to truly re-experience those exhilarating days as if they were unfolding right now, all around us. As those vibrant images and pulsating sounds of London's dynamic heart begin to settle into our minds, let us now allow ourselves to gently slip into the quieter, more intimate rhythm of a typical day in that extraordinary era. The day begins not with a sudden clamor, but with a soft, ethereal mist rising gracefully from the broad, ancient curves of the River Thames, clinging for a precious moment to the bridges and lampposts before slowly, reluctantly dissipating as the city truly stirs. The air, still crisp and cool from the night, would be subtly tinged with the comforting, earthy scent of coal fires, already lit in countless early kitchens, sending their homely wisps of smoke curling upwards, promising warmth and the brewing of the first strong cups of tea. Along the quiet high streets and in the nascent bustle of the markets, a handful of diligent street vendors would be busily setting up their stalls, their movements swift and practiced, laying out neat, inviting stacks of freshly baked bread still warm from the oven, its crust golden and fragrant, alongside vibrant pyramids of glossy, dew-kissed apples, each one promising a crisp, sweet bite, and perhaps colorful arrays of seasonal vegetables, just brought in from the verdant countryside. In the distance, a sound both familiar and deeply comforting would drift through the morning stillness, a quintessential British tune. The low, almost musical whistle of the milkman's electric float or horse-drawn cart, its rubber wheels softly crunching on the gravel or whispering over the damp tarmac, joined by the gentle, unmistakable clinking of glass bottles as he carefully placed them on doorsteps, a quiet, reassuring symphony of awakening. You would step onto the slick, ancient cobblestones, still cool and damp from the morning mist, feeling the firm, irregular ground beneath your feet as the city, slowly, gracefully, began to stretch awake around you, yawning into full, vibrant existence. A young couple, perhaps still hand in hand from a late night's revelry or an early morning stroll, might pass by, their soft laughter echoing lightly against the brickwork of the old buildings, a sound of uncomplicated joy that dances in the quiet air, just as the first iconic double-decker bus of the day rumbles past, its engine a low, comforting growl, its bright red paint a bold splash of color against the muted tones of dawn, carrying its first passengers towards the day's adventures. For a precious, fleeting moment, time itself would seem to fold and bend, and you are simply there, not observing from afar, but truly a part of the morning, blending seamlessly into its gentle, unhurried rhythm. You take a slow, deep breath, letting your imagination fill with the unique, invigorating sensation of that damp, cool air, carrying with it the promise of a new day and the quiet, almost hushed bustle of a city just beginning to live and breathe again. A moment of pure, authentic presence. As the gentle quiet of the morning gives way to the burgeoning energy of the day, and the mist from the Thames finally dissipates under the growing warmth of the sun, London truly begins to buzz, drawing us towards its vibrant heart with an almost magnetic pull. It is 1965, a year etched into the very soul of the decade, and already by midday, Carnaby Street is not just awake, but truly alive, shimmering with an infectious, youthful energy that hums through the very cobblestones beneath our feet and dances in the bright, clear air. Shop windows, gleaming under the bright afternoon light, burst forth with an explosion of color, a dazzling kaleidoscope of bold, audacious prints that seemed to defy the staid conventions of yesteryear, alongside impeccably tailored suits with their impossibly sharp lines, cut for a new kind of modern man who valued sleekness and individuality. And then there were the dresses. Oh, the dresses, with their daringly short hemlines, often in vibrant block colors or playful geometric patterns, so revolutionary, so fresh, that they truly caught the breath of passers-by, eliciting whispers of admiration and perhaps a touch of delightful scandal, a clear sign that times were indeed changing. The air itself was a delightful cocktail of sensory experiences. The faint, sweet, and distinctly modern scent of a new, perhaps French, perfume drifting from an open doorway, mingling deliciously with the rich, invigorating aroma of freshly ground coffee. A comforting, familiar presence from the bustling cafe nestled on the corner, its windows steaming gently from the warmth inside. You might find yourself pausing, leaning against a sturdy old lamppost, or perhaps settling onto a convenient bench, simply watching the captivating world unfold before you, drawn into its unscripted drama. Girls, with their perfectly coiffed hair, often styled in sharp, modern bobs or playful, gravity-defying bouffants, would stride past with a confident, almost defiant gait, their feet clad in revolutionary white go-go boots that seemed to click a rhythmic tune all their own on the pavement, each step a declaration of independence and impeccable style. Boys, their faces alight with wide, easy smiles, their narrow ties impeccable against crisp, perhaps brightly colored shirts, would lean casually against brick walls or gather in small, animated groups, their voices a low, excited murmur as they debated the merits of the latest Rolling Stones single, perhaps a fresh pressing just acquired from a nearby record shop, its rebellious chords still echoing in their minds. Every individual here, it seemed, was not just walking but performing. carrying themselves with a distinct flair, their carefully chosen outfits speaking volumes without a single word. The entire street from one end to the other transformed itself into an impromptu runway, a thrilling stage upon which the newest trends were not merely displayed, but lived, breathed, and celebrated with a palpable joy. And everyone present, whether consciously or not, became a model, a participant in this vibrant tableau, even if just for this glorious, unforgettable day, a fleeting moment of being at the very center of the world's fashion revolution. Leaving the vibrant, exhilarating spectacle of Carnaby Street behind, with its electric energy and dazzling display of fashion still buzzing delightfully in our ears, we might find ourselves drawn by a more subtle, inviting scent to a quieter, more contemplative corner of London. The unassuming door, perhaps a little weathered and scuffed from countless hands, creaks open with a soft, familiar sigh, and you step inside a dimly lit coffee house, tucked away discreetly down a narrow, intriguing lane just behind the bustling thoroughfares of Soho. The air inside immediately wraps around you like a warm, comforting blanket, rich with the deep, earthy scent of roasted coffee beans, a comforting aroma that mingles subtly with the faint, almost nostalgic tang of cigarette smoke, drifting upwards in lazy blue tendrils towards the high ceiling, catching the light in their dance. Your eyes would adjust gently to the soft, golden glow cast by a few strategically placed lamps, revealing walls lined floor to ceiling with shelves piled high with mismatched books, their spines worn and their pages promising countless untold stories, each one a silent invitation to another world, collectively creating a cozy intellectual sanctuary from the city's louder clamor. In a quiet, intimate corner, bathed in a soft spotlight, a young man with purposefully long, artistic hair sits hunched over an acoustic guitar, his fingers moving with practiced ease across the fretboard, coaxing gentle, melancholic melodies from the strings, perhaps a folk tune or a thoughtful ballad. His voice, when it comes, is low and warm, a tender, resonant hum that weaves itself effortlessly into the background symphony of the coffee house. The gentle, rhythmic clink of ceramic cups and spoons, the occasional soft hiss of a steaming espresso machine, and the low, comforting murmur of quiet, earnest conversations. At a nearby wooden table, worn smooth by countless hands and etched with the faint rings of forgotten teacups, two friends might be deeply engrossed in a passionate debate about the latest avant-garde art exhibit showing at the Tate Gallery. Their words carried on the delicate waves of steam rising from their chipped teacups, their faces animated by intellectual fervor, their gestures expressive. This, you realize with a quiet satisfaction, is not merely a place to drink coffee or escape the rain, but a true crucible where ideas are born and nurtured, a haven for spirited discussion, creative sparks, and thoughtful contemplation, all unfolding gently over a steaming cup under the hazy, dreamlike influence of soft, live music, surrounded by the almost palpable hum of collective thought and burgeoning creativity, where time itself seems to slow, inviting you to linger and absorb the very essence of the moment to become part of its quiet, vibrant tapestry. As the afternoon wanes and the sun begins its slow, graceful dip below the horizon, painting the London rooftops in a softer, warmer light, the city undergoes yet another enchanting transformation, shedding its daytime skin for a more vibrant, almost electric hum. The quiet contemplation of the coffee house, with its thoughtful murmurs and gentle strumming, gently gives way to a palpable excitement, drawing us towards its exhilarating pulse. As darkness deepens, the city glows, not just from the lingering warmth of the day, but from a myriad of artificial lights, as bold neon signs burst forth in a riot of spectacular color, flickering to life with a satisfying buzz. These luminous declarations paint the wet streets below in brilliant, shifting splashes of shocking pink, warm gold, and electric blue, their vivid reflections shimmering and dancing in the puddles on the pavement like liquid jewels, transforming the ordinary into something magical. You might feel a growing chill in the air, a crisp reminder that evening has truly arrived, and your steps quicken, drawn by a distant, insistent rhythm that promises something exciting. Outside the legendary Marquee Club, a revered hub of the burgeoning music scene, a hive of eager activity buzzes, a crowd already beginning to gather, their forms silhouetted against the vibrant glow of the streetlights and the club's own inviting facade, their breath misting in the cool air. Scarves are pulled tighter around necks, and coat collars are turned up against the encroaching cold, but no one seems to mind, for a different kind of warmth emanates from within those walls. From deep inside the club, the insistent primal beat of a drum calls out, steady and rhythmic, like a very heartbeat of the city itself, and the low, resonant thrum of a bass guitar vibrates powerfully through the very soles of your shoes, a tangible promise of the exhilarating soundscape awaiting you. Friends, their faces alight with anticipation and shared excitement, link arms, their laughter carried on the evening breeze as they hurry towards the welcoming entrance, eager to lose themselves in the immersive surge of the live music. Tonight, they will listen to a band that perhaps in just a year or two will become a household name, their melodies echoing across continents and their faces gracing magazine covers the world over. But here in this intimate moment, in this particular London club, under these very lights, they are just ours. A secret shared, playing only for those who braved the evening chill and the persistent soft rain to be here together, immersed in the raw, unpolished magic of a burgeoning sound that feels utterly new and utterly vital. Even as the raw, unbridled energy of the Marquee Club pulsed with youthful exuberance, promising the next big sound, there was always another, equally vibrant, yet distinctly different pulse beating in the heart of London's bohemian spirit, drawing us towards its welcoming glow. As the evening deepens further and the city's lights begin to truly dominate the encroaching darkness, we find ourselves, perhaps by chance or by design, wandering towards the delightful, sprawling labyrinth of Camden Market, a place where every corner held a new discovery. Here, under a canopy of stars and strung-up fairy lights, the very air itself is alive with a rich, complex tapestry of interwoven scents, each telling its own evocative story, each one pulling at a different memory. The irresistible, comforting aroma of freshly fried fish, its golden batter still crisp, wrapped snugly in newspaper, mingles tantalizingly with the sweet, sugary perfume of glistening toffee apples, their scarlet skins reflecting the warm glow of the hanging lights strung haphazardly above the stalls, like edible jewels. A cheerful stallholder's boisterous laughter drifts through the vibrant, bustling air, easily carrying over the soft, comforting hiss and gentle steam of a nearby tea stall, its warmth a welcome contrast to the crisp night. Everywhere you look, treasures spill forth from crowded wooden tables and overflowing baskets. Richly textured wool scarves in patterns both traditional and daringly new, promising warmth and style, supple leather jackets that carried the scent of adventure and a certain rebellious chic, and, of course, countless, almost sacred, stacks of glossy vinyl records. Their covers a vivid gallery of musical history, each one waiting to be discovered, each one holding a song, a memory, a precise moment in time that defined an emotion or an era. You find yourself wandering slowly, almost reverently, allowing your fingers to brush lightly against the various fabrics, feeling the smooth cool of the well-worn leather, the soft, reassuring warmth of the wool, almost as if you are gently tracing the lines of the past with your very hands, sensing the whispers of the lives lived, the music heard, the laughter shared, that each item carries within its threads and grooves. It's a place where the tangible history of the decade, the very essence of its everyday magic, is laid bare, inviting you to not just observe, but to connect with it, to feel its texture, to absorb its spirit, and to remember a time when every object seemed to possess a little piece of wonder, waiting for you to uncover it and make it your own. as the enchanting sounds and vibrant sights of Camden Market begin to soften and fade into the gentle hum of the London night, a different yet equally powerful connection to the era reaches out to us, often from the quiet comfort of our own homes. Imagine settling down after an evening out, perhaps with a comforting cup of tea steaming gently by your side, and as you switch on the wireless, that familiar, almost nostalgic crackle of the radio fills the room, a warm, living presence that speaks of connection and shared experience. Then, the clear, measured voice of a BBC presenter, instantly recognizable and reassuringly calm, slides smoothly through the gentle static and into the air, perhaps announcing with a touch of understated excitement the debut of a brand new track from the Beatles, a moment that would send shivers of anticipation through homes across the nation. You find yourself humming along almost without realizing it, your lips forming the melody and the words even if you've only heard it a handful of times, because the tune itself feels so utterly familiar, so perfectly woven into the very fabric of the moment, that it seems as though it has always been there, just waiting to be discovered. A collective recognition, a shared secret whispered from one radio to another across countless homes. Somewhere, down a quiet residential street, or perhaps nestled between a newsagent and a greengrocer, a small independent record shop, its single window display, still bathed in a soft, inviting glow, remains open just a little longer than usual, a beacon for eager ears. Its welcoming bell, perched above the door, jingles merrily and almost incessantly as a stream of excited teenagers, their faces alight with anticipation, rush in, their pockets perhaps heavy with carefully saved pocket money, desperate to hold that fresh, glossy new vinyl in their hands, their fingers tracing the album art, before the precious records inevitably sell out, leaving only a tantalizing echo of what was. The sheer joy of unwrapping the pristine sleeve, examining the artwork, and then carefully, almost ceremonially, placing the needle down for the very first listen was more than a transaction. It was a ritual, a moment of pure, unadulterated bliss that cemented a bond with the music and the moment. In these moments, with the world tuned into the same new beat, feeling its rhythm deep within our souls, the entire world felt astonishingly young, vibrant, and bursting with promise, as if all possibilities lay just around the corner. And in that shared exhilaration, so did you, ready for whatever fresh wonders tomorrow might bring, carried on the wings of a new song. Yet for all the thrilling vibrancy and relentless forward motion that characterized the swinging 60s, for all the electric energy of the clubs and the vibrant pulse of the markets, and even the shared exhilaration of a new song on the wireless, even this most dynamic of decades held within its heart moments of profound stillness, quiet interludes where the world seemed to slow its dizzying spin and invite contemplation. Imagine, if you will, seeking out such a place as the evening deepens further, perhaps feeling a gentle need for calm after the day's excitements, finding yourself in a small, unassuming park, nestled away from the insistent roar of the main roads and the clamor of central London's busier thoroughfares. You might discover a weathered wooden bench tucked invitingly beneath the sprawling, benevolent branches of a grand old tree, its limbs heavy with the rich autumnal tapestry of leaves, already turning to hues of russet and gold, gently rustling with every passing breath of wind, a comforting, timeless sound. Here, miraculously, the city's insistent noise, that constant underlying thrum of traffic and distant conversation, begins to fade into a soft, faraway murmur, a gentle, almost benevolent hum that no longer demands your attention but simply exists as a faraway echo, a memory of the day's bustle. A discarded newspaper, perhaps the very one you imagined earlier, now, a little damp from the evening air, might flutter lightly across the path in a playful dance with the breeze, its headlines about the day's events now softened by the twilight, no longer quite so urgent or demanding. Above you, a solitary street lamp, already casting its warm amber glow upon the gathering darkness, emits a faint, almost musical hum, a steady, comforting presence in the quietude, like a gentle guardian. In moments precisely like this, in these unexpected pauses between the grand, sweeping narratives of change and the ceaseless march of progress, you truly begin to feel the deeper, more profound heartbeat of the decade. It wasn't always found in the rush, the excitement, or the dazzling newness of everything, but often, and perhaps most meaningfully, it was discovered in these very pauses, in the spaces between the notes of a song, in the tranquil calm that allowed you to breathe, reflect, and truly absorb the spirit of an age that was, in its vibrant essence, both wonderfully wild and profoundly serene, a time for both revelry and quiet introspection. As the deep quiet of the park settles fully around us, the gentle rustle of leaves becoming the predominant sound and the last vestiges of daylight fading to a soft charcoal gray, we gradually feel the night drawing in, pulling its soft, velvet cloak over the city. Soon, the last double-decker bus of the evening, its journey winding down after a long day of carrying Londoners to and fro, pulls away from its stop with a final gentle sigh of air brakes, its red taillights glowing like distant embers, slowly diminishing and disappearing into the soft gathering mist that now begins to cling intimately to the quiet streets. One by one, we imagine shopkeepers, their long day's work finally done, their faces perhaps a little tired but content, locking their heavy wooden doors with a satisfying click and scrape of metal, the sound echoing briefly in the quietened thoroughfares, their once brightly lit windows, once bursting with vibrant displays, now dark and reflecting only the ghostly gleam of distant street lamps. The dazzling neon signs that earlier painted the pavements in vivid, shifting hues now wink out one after another with a soft pop or a dying buzz, their bold declarations of fashion and entertainment slowly dimming, leaving only the more subtle, constant glow of the traditional gas lights or the older, familiar electric lamps. You begin to walk slowly, your own footsteps, now remarkably clear and distinct, echoing gently in the hushed, deserted streets, passing by ancient, steadfast buildings that have stood for centuries, witnessing countless generations, and which will no doubt see 100 more nights just like this one, carrying untold memories within their old weathered bricks. In these fading moments of the day, as the city retreats into slumber, there's a profound sense of continuity. It's a feeling that the spirit of the 60s is not merely a distant memory, a chapter closed in a book, but still wonderfully, intimately here, lingering in the cool, damp way the night air feels against your face, in the soft, nostalgic way the light from a distant window falls upon a cobbled lane, painting it in shades of sepia and gold, and perhaps most vividly in the gentle, contented rhythm of your own heart, beating just a little slower, attuned now to the quiet magic of the past, fully immersed in its enduring presence. And so, dear friend, as the echoes of your footsteps finally fade into the deep, comforting hush of the London night, and the last of the city's vibrant colors melt into the soft, comforting grays of dawn's distant approach, we gently, reluctantly, leave the remarkable swinging 60s for now. This journey, however brief it may have felt, has, I hope, allowed us to touch once more upon the enduring magic of a time that shaped so much of who we are. A period not merely of bold fashion and revolutionary music, but of shared dreams, vibrant discoveries, and a boundless sense of possibility that truly defined a generation. But perhaps, as you finally close your eyes and prepare for a restful slumber, the joyful, rebellious, or tender music of that era will keep playing softly, somewhere deep within the quiet, cherished chambers of your memory. A comforting melody that lingers long after the visual images of Carnaby Street and dim coffee houses have gently faded. Thank you, truly, and from the bottom of my heart, for joining me tonight on this gentle wander through back in the day, the vintage stories. If this nostalgic journey has warmed your heart, or brought a familiar flicker of recognition and fondness to your eyes, perhaps you might consider extending its reach by clicking to like this story, or sharing it with a friend or loved one who might also cherish these precious memories, or even subscribing to our channel so that we can continue walking these quiet, memory-laden streets together, revisiting the cherished moments of days gone by, always ready for another gentle adventure into the past. Sleep well, my dear friend, and may your dreams be wonderfully lit with the gentle, enduring glow of another time, a comforting light that reminds us that the past is never truly gone, but simply waiting patiently for our return. Next time, dear friend, as our journey continues through the enchanting tapestry of the past, we won't merely be walking the bustling streets of London, observing from the charming anonymity of the pavement or the vibrant energy of its public spaces. Instead, we shall take a more intimate turn, inviting ourselves to step through the familiar door of a cozy London home, nestled comfortably in the very heart of the 60s, feeling the subtle warmth of its welcome as we cross the threshold, leaving the city's hum behind. We will hear the comforting, high-pitched whistle of a kettle on the hob, its cheerful sound announcing a moment of quiet respite, and breathe in the distinctive earthy fragrance of fresh tea leaves, steeping gently in a favorite, perhaps floral teapot, promising warmth and companionship. From a warm, well-loved armchair, perhaps one with a worn cushion and a familiar pattern, we will settle in and watch the city's rhythm unfold gently from a new, intimate perspective, observing the quiet ballet of everyday life as it dances beyond the window panes, catching glimpses of children playing in the street or neighbors chatting over fences. It's a chance, you see, to feel the deeper, more personal pulse of the era, to experience its domestic comforts, its quiet routines, and the simple joys that underpinned the grander narratives of change, a moment to truly understand life within those four walls. Welcome back once again, dear friend, to the Swinging Sixties, for there are always more stories waiting to be told, more cherished memories to be relived, and more quiet, heartfelt moments to be shared, just around the corner, or perhaps just beyond a welcoming doorway.